Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for you today, and this is coming from the test server. The next game update we have coming up, there's two huge quality of life adjustments that are coming, and I wanted to share with you those today. Now, the first one we're looking at is the base item vendor, and then the second one is going to be the base or your base dispenser, so your layer dispenser, having all the trinkets attached to it. So the first one, in the House of Legends, you go to living quarters. In the living quarters, there's a brand new vendor on the far side. It's Cheetah. And you can see rare base item vendor. Now, presently, the only base items here are basically a collection of all the previous episodes' base items. So in each previous episode, they always had those base items attached to it that you either had to complete collections for, like this one, you said, must complete Flashpoint Gotham Underbelly collection to purchase this, etc. So you had all those base items that were on the vendors that you could purchase for. Some are going to be source marks now. Some, if the episode's still in relevancy, it's going to be Wayne tokens or Justice tokens. So all those are going to be combined on the vendor now. Now, I know that's not exactly what people are looking for, but the developers have said they're going to expand this in the future to include other types of base items. This is just the easiest place to start by consolidating all these. And then I'm sure we're going to have different tabs up. So you see like World of Flashpoint, Long Live the Legion, Wonderverse, Birds of Prey, Metal Part 2, Titans, Deluge, Earth 3. And then basically, as it goes on, then we'll have more base items, ones that could drop from collections or one that could actually just drop in content. So these, this is something to look forward to going forward. But at least now we have, instead of having to run all over the Watchtower or run all over the different episode zones, at least now you have at least these are in the same spot so far. So if you need to purchase some of these, like the old server terminal, stuff like that, the fountains. So basically, it's one step in the right direction. Now that we have at least one vendor to consolidate everything, and then going forward, we'll be able to add more base items here to kind of have like a complete collection. Because right now, all we have now is being forced to go to our base inventory and kind of scroll through that list. Yeah, the base, like all we have is basically this list here to scroll by, and it's not very descriptive. It's hard to be able to find things. So you forget what things are called. Because you can't search by it. So it's basically, we're moving towards the direction where all these items here are eventually going to be added to actual vendors, so you can purchase it, have more kind of a focus on base builders rather than having to either rely on the broker or rely on random drops. You'll be able to purchase them individually for marks, so it'll be a good mark sync as well as help those base builders create or buy duplicates of what the items that they want rather than being basically held hostage by the broker. So that's the first quality of life improvement. The second one. So for the second quality of life adjustment, you have to go to your layer and then your base dispenser or base vendor, whatever you want to refer to it as. Now this is where the changes happen, and this is where there's a very important aspect of this change that you have to realize to make sure that you don't actually have an error. So with this, so any existing trinket of all the types listed below must be equipped again for the first time after that update, and that basically that allows your base dispenser to know that it's missing. So for example, if I go here, I have the Undersea Henchman in my inventory, or your bank, doesn't matter, inventory bank. But if I go to actually the Henchman, I'm not going to see, sorry, that's that Sidekicks. Whoops. If I go here, I'm not going to see those Undersea. So they're in my bank, I have them, but they're not going to show up in my dispenser because I haven't equipped them again. So now if I go Undersea, equip it, go back to here. Now if I go back to my backup, now I see the Undersea. And it's going to say only one could be, one of those trinket can be in possession at the same time. So if I, for example, if I have that Undersea and just delete it, now I'll be able to go back into my base dispenser and get the Henchman out. And then as you saw, right before I clicked off, it locked it again. So you can only have one at a time. So that's the most important aspect you have to take away from this, is that it's not gonna, if you just sitting in your base, like say when you log on you have your orbital strike, like the freeze beam, whatever, attached to your inventory. That is not going to show up unless you click it again. I did it as a test, which is why you see it there. It would have looked a lot better in the video if I would have done that actually in the video itself rather than off camera. But that's the important thing. So all these things right here, like the unicorn, all these supply drops are basically just sitting in my, are not going to show up. So if I go my supply drops, I only have sorceries and mercenary. It's the same thing. I can delete sorcery, I can delete the mercenary one, but all these other supply drops I don't have in the dispenser, but they're just sitting in my bank. Like I'll basically I'll clip some footage as well, or at least show you a picture. Actually, the picture makes sense. I'll put it up on the screen here what my bank looks like on live server. So basically, when this update hits on game update 122, I'm going to have to take each of these items from my bank and equip it again in my inventory to make sure that it listed it. And if you want to make sure, all you have to do is check the list. Oh, I don't see that there, but it's in my inventory. I equip it, and then it's going to show up. So that's the important thing to remember. So I'll sit right now, like if I go to supply drops, only 2 are there. And if I just equip these, and just make sure they're all equipped because I can't tell because I'm swapping out supply drops with supply drops. But now if I go back to the actual supply drop menu, you can see they're all listed here. And same thing if I delete each one. So I'll just I have each one deleted from my inventory. Now if I go back to the supply drops, I can purchase any one I want. So if I want the mercenary one, buy it. It's going to lock it from the inventory, and I can equip that. So that's going to be a huge space saver. As you can see here, my picture on live server, I'm going to save several rows of slots. So this doesn't work with combat like pets. This is only work with orbital strikes, backups, sidekicks, and supply drops. It's the same thing. We'll just equip the everything else here. And that's all you have to do. Just spend a few minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, on day 1 once the update hits to make sure that you re-equip every single backup, henchman, sidekick, and orbital strike in your inventory. And then once you do, you'll see it here. So all the orbital strikes I have, this is a test server. I'm going to have a lot more on live server. You know, all the sidekicks, all the supply drops, all the henchmen and backup are all going to be listed there. So this is going to be a great quality of life change moving forward. It's going to save a lot of bank space. And as well, as you saw, since it's the freeze beam, you can even have like all the survival mode trinkets, or not trinkets, but survival mode orbital strikes, anything that drops extra from episodes, from seasonals, everything's going to be here. So there's that quality of life change. Just remember again. I should say as well, if because I forgot to mention that, if it's related to a feat, like say you got the Man-Bat Commandos feat, and then you actually didn't have the Man-Bat Commandos anymore because you deleted them, that is still going to save. So anything that is obtained, if there's a feat attached to it, it's automatically, the system is automatically going to know that you got that because you have the feat already from the episode. So because, like, if I go back with Little Crime, because I have the Man-Bat Commandos, wherever they went, because I have this feat, the game knows that I have the Man-Bat Commandos, so it's going to automatically appear in my list. Because I mean, I didn't keep the Man-Bat Commandos, because obviously it's the worst backup for damage. But you can see your Man-Bat Commandos are in my inventory because the system knows because I have the feed. So don't worry about that. But just make sure, like I said before, the PSA or public service announcement to take away from this is that check the vendor to make sure if it's there. If it's not there, re-equip it, and just re-equip everything just anyways, just in case. Because if you try to recover a deleted item, you're not going to be able to recover everything in your deleted list. You're only going to be able to restore 1. So just make sure triple positive that once it's there, you equip it, and you see it in your inventory, and you see that it's locked before you delete it from your inventory. So, take care, guys. We'll see you in the next video.